Welcome back to Loud About Loss, where we hold space for the hard conversations and the sacred stories that the world doesn't always want to hear. Today's episode is tender and powerful, especially for anyone walking into Mother's Day with a grieving heart. I am joined by my beautiful friend Amber, a fellow loss mom who knows the ache of this day all too well. Amber's daughter Kinley was born with several congenital heart defects, including ASD and VSD, and was born missing part of her sixth chromosome. Today, we're sharing openly about what Mother's Day feels like when your child isn't here to celebrate with you. We're talking about the awkwardness of being told Happy Mother's Day when your arms are empty, and the sting of being ignored when people don't recognize your motherhood at all. This episode is about the in-between. It's about honoring the moms who love loudly, grieve quietly, and carry their children in their hearts instead of their hands. If you've ever felt invisible on Mother's Day, this one's for you. You are seen. You are still a mom. And we're so glad you're here with us. Hello, Amber. I'm so glad that you're here today to talk about Mother's Day and about Kinley and all the things.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, I have to ask you a little bit about Kinley and what's her story and what's something you want the world to know about her.
I had a really normal pregnancy, and I had a previous child that was healthy, and there were a couple things that they found on an early ultrasound, like, looks like she has a couple holes in her heart, but they totally close up usually. So we did like a, special ultrasound at the end, and they're like, yep, the hole's closed up. Okay. She was my only child out of 3 that came on her own, a week early without inducing. And she came into this world fighting. She was born with the cord wrapped around her neck, purple, not breathing, a giant wound on her left arm, and a couple of her fingers necrotic. And the doctors came over to me like, we don't know what this is. And I'm like, take her to the NICU. Like, get her, why don't stand here and talk to me right now,
Yeah.
And they treated it like a burn, and the roller coaster began of purgatory is how I like to describe it. She was here, I guess, is what I would like the world to know. And just because she's gone doesn't mean that the grief is gone.
Mm-hmm. Never.
It's hard to talk. It's hard to talk about when I say that. You're like, what do you want the world to know about her? And then I'm like, when it comes back to me, her and me. And like, I'm always like, oh, am I a jerk? Because it's back to, trying not to judge it, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yes. like that guilt for like, I have this grief, and
Yeah.
it's because of her and losing her, and like it's a lot of but it's because she's not here. So we actually met on Facebook like years ago, and I think you were running a Zaya. I think it was a Zaya group,
A
right?
fundraiser.
Yeah, and we like connected through child loss and like our little girls, and we kept on talking about our 2 little girls that were so similar, and our stories are so similar. And so, like, do you remember that connection, like what it feels like to connect with a stranger on such a like deep level? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually love it so much because I think that it helps remind me that even though, it's such a lonely thing to go through the loss and the journey of grief. And um it can feel jarring and isolating. It's kind of just like one of those things like, oh, I want a yellow car. You start seeing the yellow cars everywhere. You're like, oh, actually, a lot of people have yellow cars, right? I'm not the only one that like has a yellow car or wants a yellow car, whatever. And so it helps me actually feel so many things. It helps me feel like less of a victim. It helps me feel, so then that gives me hope. And then I feel connected, which is something that we innately desire as humans. So that feels nice. And it reminds me like none of us get out of here unscathed. And I'm a man among men. I'm not like this victim of, this terrible, painful thing that only happened to me. And then I also get to feel like I have something to offer, because there's, like for the moms that came after me. When I share about it, I allow myself to be supported, and then I allow myself to see how my experience can benefit the people that came after me, and they know they can reach out and be like, I remember a year after she died, after Kinley died, we got to say their names, right? After Kinley died, I had a friend message me and ask me where I got this memorial piece of jewelry. She had a stillborn, and she knew that she could message me and
Mhm.
that I could guide her and that I could validate, that beginning of the journey because I'd gone through that first year already.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, you are not afraid to be loud about your grief and talk about Kinley on social media. Why do you share Kinley's story so publicly?
Okay, so fun fact. I've been really into human design lately. And I don't know if you're into it at all, but
Mm.
we all, and I already knew this, like it's so validating, but I learned that my role in this world is, and we all have one, and it's not everybody's role. And I would always be like something that would bother me is like, how come other people aren't so like it's again isolating and people don't, not everybody wants to be out loud like this. And I'm like, why are you doing that? It's not for the greater good of humanity to hold that to yourself,
Yeah.
And so learning about the human design, it's just helped me realize like it's my role, but it's not everybody's to share the experiences that they've gone through and what they learn from that. And so it's literally why I'm here,
Mhm.
to help people
Yeah,
in
it's
that
part of your
way.
calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. To speak up for, the mothers that feel like they can't or, like, they don't have the space for it, like, the platform, I had this conversation yesterday with a friend, and she asked me, like, "Why are you publishing your book? Like, why are you doing that?" And, like, I told her I want to be a voice for the moms that feel they can't have a voice. The society that we live in, like they don't welcome talking about grief and talking about dead babies. And like I want to make that more welcome in this world. And because it's like, well, they're a part of us. And like when you get asked how many children do you have, like, that guilt, that, like, icky feeling that you feel when you just say 2, you know, and you actually have 3 and one's in heaven, like, that icky, yucky feeling in your chest. You know what I'm talking about? Like, not being able to say their name, not being able to say, like, I have 3. I have 3, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of all of them, you know?
I mean, it just depends what kind of day it is and what kind of mood I'm in, because
Right.
sometimes, like, especially I have a whole tattoo. And so sometimes people will ask me about that. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, do I tell the truth? Like if I'm feeling feisty, it might be like, or if I'm just I'm playing with society, like, how will this person be able to hold space? Will they be able to?
Right,
How will they respond to
right.
it? And or am I feeling fragile and I need self-preservation? So I play with it,
Yep.
but I learned, pretty early on. I remember I was at lunch with this lady, and I mean, it was pretty early on after I had lost Kinley, and was crying at lunch, and she literally put her hand on my arm across the table and said, "Don't cry."
What?
And and I was just like, I realized in that moment that, that she didn't know how to handle my pain. And, it wasn't personal to me. Like, she wasn't saying, like, you're wrong for your pain. What she was really saying was, I don't know. I don't have the tools to hold space for your pain and your grief right now.
Mhm.
And it's super uncomfortable for me. And so it's like, yeah, it would make me angry. I'd be like, what the lady, like, seriously? I'm here freaking flailing and like just dying inside. And you're over here telling me not to cry? Like, I just lost a human child that I carried in my body for 10 months. Like, tell me that you wouldn't cry, you know? Um, so,
Um,
but it's like everything else, right? People treat you the way that they feel about themselves, and they're able to meet you like how deep they've met themselves. So it's not personal.
mhm.
Um, yeah,
Yep, yep, their own trauma, their own
tools.
stuff that they haven't dealt with in their own lives,
But
their own grief.
it's societal conditioning too. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's so funny. Like, even I'm aware of it. I caught myself one time saying like everything happens for a reason, and I'm just like, who said that? Like, why would I say that? I don't even believe that. Like, it's so
Yeah.
innate, right? Because of the conditioning, we just don't even realize like how much it has a hold of us.
Mhm. Yep, absolutely. What what does Mother's Day feel like for you since Kinley died? Like, how has it been different?
I have a lot of stuff with Mother's Day, not only that, but just with my own mother
Mother.
wound
Mhm.
that I have. So it's quite loaded, and you just never know, right? Like any anniversary or holiday, it's
Mhm.
like sometimes the anticipation is the worst part, and the day is actually like not terrible. There's no roadmap. It's just a lot like grief, right? Like, you
Mhm.
just don't freaking know. And but you definitely know that it's not the same as it is for everyone,
Mhm.
right? And so that doesn't feel connecting, and I know that I'm not alone too.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
what about you?
I remember, like, that the first Mother's Day after Gracie passed away, I was actually pregnant with Amelia, but, like, I remember going to church that Sunday and, like, everybody's telling you, "Happy Mother's Day," and I wanted to punch every single one of them. I like, I don't wanna hear that because I'm a mother and I don't have a baby to show for it. And this feels wrong. I was angry. I even my own mom, who I do have a good relationship with, I didn't want anything to do with the day. I told my husband, like, can we just treat this like another Sunday? Because I can't do this. I can't handle it. Um, and everybody's so happy and cheery on Mother's Day, and it just pisses me off. I don't, I don't know. And I've had a baby. I've had a child with me every Mother's Day after that first one. I've had a child with me, but it's still like I think it was 2 Mother's Days ago. I was so emotional and I was crying left and right, and I told my husband, like, "Hey, I'm gonna lock myself in the bedroom. I'm gonna watch some movies on my laptop, and I'm going to sleep, and I'm gonna cry, and I'm gonna do all the things, and I'm just gonna escape." And I feel like we should welcome that on Mother's Day. Like, if we need to do that to lock ourselves in a room or, like, not be mom for a day, like, I think that should be okay. And it was exactly what I needed, um, to just kind of escape the day. It sounds a little morbid, but, like, to, like, lock myself in my bedroom from everyone and everything. Ugh, but
Well, I mean, I would like to offer you a different perspective on that
yeah,
when I hear you saying that.
yeah.
I think that it's really brave and admirable to allow yourself to surrender to that grief on Mother's Day or any day, because I think, not only is it hard for society, but then that makes it like just it's uncomfortable. Like, right? I don't like crying. I don't like feeling sad. I would like to pretend that I don't have a dead child, you know?
Yep.
Like I would like to run the other way when those feelings come up sometimes. And
Mhm,
so I think that that is lovely and brave, and you're allowing yourself to just feel the weight of that sadness
mm.
and honoring that.
Yeah, you're so right, and yeah, and I don't do that enough.
You do
I
that
don't I
enough.
don't
You do that like, we as moms, we don't need that should in the what we don't do, right?
Yeah,
Like we're all doing the best we can. And I know it's so easy for me to say these things that I know with my head, and for me to feel them with my heart is definitely not always easy. But I can tell you these things I'm saying that I've learned that like I know are true, right? Like
yeah.
we just from the moment you become a mom, it's like that the guilt baggage just hops on like, "You're not enough.
Yep,
You're not enough.
yep, yep.
You're doing it wrong."
Hops on. I like that. What do you wish people understood about bereaved mothers on Mother's Day?
That it's not all happy, right? Like that, and on Mother's Day and every day, that when they bring up your child, like, I know we get it a lot. I'm sure you get it a lot about like, if you get upset because they say like, if you just start talking about Gracie or I start talking about Kenley, like, and then you get emotional, like I cry very easily. So I'll cry all the time and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And
Mm,
it's just like, you know, I already knew that I had a dead child. Like I always know.
yep.
And so you talking about it doesn't unveil a curtain like a curtain. It's not like it's like, "I have a dead child?"
Yeah, right.
Like, no, I knew
Yeah,
already.
yep.
So, you bringing it up isn't what's making me emotional. The fact that I have a dead child is what's making me emotional, right? So
Mhm.
it's okay. It's okay too that I feel pain and it's not your fault.
Yeah, right, yeah. I'm
You're
sorry,
not
that made you
responsible.
cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't mean to bring it up. Oh, but no, it's okay because I want to say her name. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and it's like that pain that comes up is like multifaceted because it's like not just the fact that I have a dead child, but it's the fact that I felt seen. And that,
Yeah.
the longer that goes on, like that becomes so rare. And I think that when somebody is willing to step into that pain, it just shows that they are evolved and that they can hold space. And like, I appreciate that, if anything else, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a certain way that you honor Kinley on Mother's Day?
You're really good about doing that. And like not that I'm not. So it's not that I'm not, because comparison is the death of joy, right? And so like when I see the way that you celebrate Gracie, I'm like, I think that is so beautiful. And like when you celebrate her birthday, I know it's about Mother's Day, but I just can't
Yeah.
help but like
Right.
bring it up, and I'm
Milestones.
like,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful, and grief and the way that we bring bring our children into our lives after they're gone are also unique, just like our journeys. And I don't do a lot.
Mhm.
So there isn't anything that I do. What I try to do is just live my life, and every day, um, remembering, like, she didn't get to do these things.
Mhm.
She didn't get to have this life, and she would want me to be thriving and happy. And I don't owe a penance, to try to show myself or the world my sadness and my grief all the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's just okay. Like I don't have to do anything. I am not obligated to hang myself up on a cross, or like, to just be woe is me. Like I'm allowed to grieve in my way, and not doing anything doesn't make my pain less.
Yep. 100%.
We totally talk about her, and my little one especially. Like it's
Oh.
so interesting. It's like they're connected. They are connected, like
Yeah.
no doubt. She
Oh
has
my god.
always talked about her, drawn pictures of her. Like
Oh.
she would get her ashes sometimes and eat with her. And
Oh.
yeah, so sweet. And like when I get sad, she'll like sometimes like talk about Kinley, like, it's okay, mom, like Kinley's here with you. Like she feels like that's reassuring to me, which I think is so interesting.
Mhm.
She's a major space holder.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Emmy's, when she was smaller, like 5, 6 years old, she would go into, anywhere, to the playground, to school, wherever, and she would tell everybody, "I have a sister in heaven. I have a sister in heaven. I have a" and she would be so proud of it, and she would draw pictures, color pictures, and, now I think she keeps it more to herself. She's 11 now, but she keeps it more to herself. And, um, but when she's around us and in our family, like she talks about Gracie, says Gracie's name all the time. Even Maisie has started talking about Gracie, 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 and she knows who she is. And like all the pictures around the house, like, Mom, that's Gracie. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I love it so much. Our little ones
we
are
got these we
so
got these
good.
t-shirts made for her after she died. And Scarlett has always worn her t-shirt. She wears it like a couple times a week, and it says Kenley's name, and it says like, like when she died and stuff. And she
Yeah.
loves those t-shirts. She's like, I'm like, she's gone through her older sisters that she handed down, and now she's getting big for that one. I'm like, do you want me to get you another
Another
one? Yes.
one?
She does. Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had some T-shirts made for Gracie's birthday last year.
I know I got one, girl.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, you did. And, like, Maisie wears it all the time, and they're wearing it out, and I'm like,
It's
"What are we gonna
cute.
do? What are we gonna do for this year?" Because you can't even see what it says anymore. But,
Hmm.
oh my gosh. So, what would you say to the mom listening right now who's dreading this coming weekend, Mother's Day, who's missing her baby and feels invisible?
You are not alone. You deserve to dread this day and any day you want.
Amen.
And you don't owe anyone anything in your grief. I think not trying not to judge your grief and just giving yourself space,
Mm,
especially newly entering into grief is just like, you don't have to show up for a Mother's Day anything. You don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to.
mhm,
You're allowed to take care of yourself and say, like, I might be really fragile that day. I might not. I might feel fine. I might be crying. But I want to just not be vulnerable and not put myself out there
mhm,
to, be taking on other people's emotions or lack thereof or whatever, right? Like we have to take care of ourselves and nobody's going to do that for us. If you feel like celebrating Mother's Day and you want to go spread yourself around, then go do that too. Like whatever, you
mhm,
know? It's just not, there's not a manual for this. There's not a manual for how you grieve, and how she does it might be different. And you're so not alone. It's all okay.
yeah, it's all okay. I know you're talking about grief circles, and you are wanting to start some grief circles. You run some grief circles, like, tell me
Yes,
about
I
that.
have. So I have once before, and I was just kind of thinking, like, yes, it's brewing in my mind about some way. I just keep feeling this pull, like I'm meant for more. I'm not sure what it is, but I have so much experience with so many different things, including the grief. So I'm sober, and I've been sober for 18 years, and it's so cool. My sponsor, she lost a child in her disease of alcoholism, and her child
Mm,
had a heart disease too, and died at 4 days old. And the doctor looked at her and said, your son wouldn't have had any type of a good life. And she looked at him and was like, "You don't know what kind of life my son would have had." And she was angry and resentful, and she went out into her disease of addiction and never dealt with it, right?
yeah.
And then I had another friend in her addiction too, who birthed a child that was a stillbirth and had to carry it till the end and knew that it would die when she birthed it.
Mm,
And so she was also went off in her disease. And so these two women watched me go through what I went through. I was about 8 years sober at the time. And for my friend that her son had the heart disease, she said, watching you go through what you went through, and she visited me in the hospital, she was obviously like there during the whole journey, said, it was really healing for me because I realized like what you went through and that the doctor was right.
mm,
So we came together one day. It's kind of foggy, but the circle isn't foggy. And we came together, and they brought things that reminded them of their children. and they shared about their children. And, they just never got to deal with that grief being in their disease.
Yeah.
And so being able to come together and have space to share their children with other mothers who got it, I think, that was really special and healing. And I just think it'd be cool. And I know, like, the mothers that I spoke to, coordinating the days and times can be difficult, but they want that, It's like you want to come together and just be able to talk about your child without getting the at least and God has a angel and blah
Yeah.
blah blah that we hear all the time.
I love it. So, Amber, where can people follow you and learn more about you, et cetera, et cetera?
And friend me on Facebook, Amber Tillinghast. It is a crazy last name, but it's T.
I'll put it on the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. Thank you. It's a mouthful. I can barely say it myself, but I do share a lot of skincare on there. But I am a real down to earth person, and you can message me.
Yes.
And it's like, the thing is that we don't need to know each other. Like, as soon as that we've gone through this jolting life experience, we're connected, right? Like, we get it. We get it when other people don't get it.
Yep. 100%. Awesome. Well, Amber, thank you so much for talking to me today about all the milestones and our babies and
Thank you for having me. It was
yeah.
nice.
All right. Have a great day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.